There are a number of technologies which have come up very fast, but the one technology which has attracted which has come up very fast and people talk about very often on different platforms is the blockchain technology. And why, when people start talking about cryptocurrency, and at some places you will very often see that when people talk about blockchain technology, they use this blockchain terminology as a synonym to the cryptocurrency. So we will be trying to understand the historical perspective of cryptocurrency, and how actually the cryptocurrency evolved. If you look back in the history, we see that the first ever currency which was created was Bitcoin. So the historical perspective, of course, it will be addressing and will be discussed in the context of Bitcoin. So and it has its own history. If you all remember that in 2008 was exploded into a global financial earthquake. It witnessed this collapse of the banking system in the United States, and that happened to be a major financial crisis, widespread all over the world, and entire world had witnessed the setback of this downfall. Precisely on 15 September 2008, the Lehman Brothers filed the bankruptcy, which remains the largest bankruptcy filing in the United States till date. So in order to prevent a possible collapse of the world financial system, many large financial institutions were bailed out by the government, so that to keep the trust, the confidence of investors intact. But the very same year marked the beginning of something that impacted the whole banking system, and it was the year white paper on Bitcoin when it was published. So precisely on November 1st, 2008, a white paper which title was Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, which was posted to a cryptographic mailing list by the creator of Bitcoin, whom we call the father of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto. If we read the abstract of this paper, what it tells that how actually this alternate electronic cash, to which we call cryptocurrency, is going to behave. So its abstract says that a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to other party without going through a financial institution. Means if there are two parties, if there are two persons or two parties, if they want to transact among themselves, now normal in conventional system what we follow today, if suppose if you buy something, then there is one party who wants to buy, there is another party which sells the product, the service, whatever you want to buy. And then in process, when the payment process comes, you are connected to the Mercantile Banking Association, and through protocol, then you choose your mode of payment, whether it is banking, UPI or whatever it is, and then you are connected to the bank, and then transaction takes place. This electronic cash system eliminates this inclusion of financial institution in that entire process. So what does it say? That if two parties are exchanging among themselves, that transaction is between those two bodies, and nobody else would come to know actually what transaction has done. So the transaction details are disappearing, and that's what the essence of electronic cash system, especially when cryptocurrency comes. Okay. So immediately following it, in January 2009, the first ever set of 50 bitcoins. Remember this. This was January 2009 when first 50 bitcoins were released, along with the first block in blockchain, and called the Genesis block. So the first block which was created in blockchain was worth 50 bitcoins, and this first block is called Genesis block. So the Genesis block contained the headline of a famous UK newspaper with the date, the Times, 3rd January 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for the banks. So later in January 2009, the first Bitcoin transactions took place between Satoshi Nakamoto and Hal Finney. Hal Finney is one of the early enthusiasts who assisted Nakamoto and joined the project on SourceForge. So post that on February 11th, 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto, he posted on public forum that P2P Foundation Group, some of the excerpts I will be, it should be of our interest, because when we talk about historical perspective as how the cryptocurrency evolved, this is very important, because this was the first announcement after creation of release of the first 50 bitcoins in January. So in February, after about a month, he published on his P2P Foundation Group and said, I have developed a new open source P2P e-cash system which is called Bitcoin. That's how the name Bitcoin came. It's completely decentralized with no central server or trust parties, because everything is based on crypto-proof instead of trust. Give it a try, or take a look at the screenshot and design. And then he, of course, shared certain screenshots of entire process, that how actually it will be. And then he also responded to some of the questions which were raised by many of the people. So this was the initial time when actually the cryptocurrency in the form of Bitcoin is started. And soon that Bitcoin is started gathering the momentum, because people found it a different, unique system where if they transact using Bitcoin, there was no third party, there was no financial institution was involved. So that was entirely private, secret, safe. And that's why people started looking at it as an alternative currency, and it started getting momentum. So early transactions were very low. Of course, it happens, because when something new comes into the practice, people in fact they show a kind of resistance because of lack of confidence, lack of trust, and how actually it will go, what the how the entire system will move forward. So because of that, and of course there was not that much easy process to procure these bitcoins. So the transaction was very low, limited to mainly technology enthusiasts, and its price was minuscule to a point less than 4 cents. So in the early days, it was tough to imagine that bitcoins could even cross $1 million market cap. I would like to just quote an example that in 2010, May 2010, one of the programmer whose name was Laszlo the Hannes, he spent 10,000 bitcoins to buy 2 Pizzas. 10,000 bitcoins. In 2010, 10,000 bitcoins was to be invested for 2 Pizzas. 10,000 bitcoin. Now today, 1 bitcoin is approximately, it lies somewhere between $44,000 to $45,000. 1 bitcoin. So, and when he purchased this 2 pizzas by spending 10,000 bitcoins, still today those 2 pizzas are considered to be one of the costliest pizzas sold as on date. So finally, in over 2010, Bitcoin's market cap, it crossed $1 million, and then since then rest is the history. If you see, I would like to quote an example that in 2009, if somebody, one person invested $27 and then he forgot about it, because $27 was not that a large amount. He invested and then he forgot about it. Suddenly, after a few years later, he was just sitting and thinking that I invested. Suddenly, it might have struck him that I had invested $27 in Bitcoin in 2009. After a few years later, when casually he was checking that let's see that what's the current worth, it was $900,000. So $27 became $900,000 amount. This is how the Bitcoins got popularity, got momentum, and this is where now exactly it is placed. Once 2 years back, once the price of Bitcoin was around $56,000. Due to this, in last 2 years, that currency had dropped down significantly, but still now market has started picking up. And today in the morning, I was seeing that around $44,000 plus is again the pricing of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin has gone. So this was something which had strong potential. There are a number of options available with the people, those who want to get into this entire buying purchase of cryptocurrency. But trust me, the objective of this video is not to motivate you or to inspire you or to help you to identify how to make investment in cryptocurrency. But as an individual, we all should know if this thing is available and people are talking on such a large scale about this technology, what actually it is and how it is impacting individuals.